diving deep into the messy, hilarious, and sometimes brutal truth of relationships and friendships in Southeast Asia, especially when you're the wide-eyed foreigner stumbling into the mix. No fluff, no filter, just the real deal. Let's tear into it. So, you've packed your bags, ditched the 9-to-5 grind, and landed in Southeast Asia, land of rice paddies, tuk-tuks, and a million ways to sweat through your shirt before breakfast. You're thinking beaches, cheap beer, and a fresh start, right? Well, buckle up, because your relationships and friendships here are about to define your entire stay, and not in the Hallmark card way you're imagining. This isn't some quaint expat fantasy. It's a full-on social safari, and you, my friend, are the juicy antelope everyone's eyeing. Picture this. You roll into a neighborhood, maybe a dusty barangay in the Philippines, a bustling alley in Bangkok, or a sleepy village in Bali. You're barely unpacked, still figuring out where to buy decent coffee, when bam, you're a target. Not in a hide-your-wallet way, though. Yeah, maybe that too, but in a new guy on the block way. Someone's already been voluntold to scope you out. Could be the lady frying lumpia next door, the dude fixing his motorbike, or the kid kicking a deflated soccer ball. Their mission? Get cozy, figure out your vibe, and here's the kicker, start hitting you up for cigs, spare change, or whatever else they can charm out of your pocket. It's not malice, it's mechanics. The more you give, the more you're in. Hand over a few pesos, a smoke, or a cold San Miguel, and suddenly you're the neighborhood hero. High fives, smiles, invitations to karaoke night. Stingy up though? Good luck. The welcome mat gets yanked faster than you can say, sorry, I'm broke. You're not just a person here. You're a walking social experiment, and the locals are the scientists. That's the game, and it's been running since before you were born. Now, let's zero in on the Philippines, because this is where the social stakes get extra spicy and a little savage. Filipinos are famous for a lot of things. Killer adobo, knockout hospitality, and a cultural quirk so notorious it's got its own name, crab mentality. You know the drill. A bucket of crabs. One tries to climb out, the others drag it back down. It's a metaphor for a mindset that says, if I can't have it, neither can you. And when you're the foreigner strolling in with your shiny suitcase and a whiff of disposable income, that mentality locks onto you like a heat-seeking missile. Here's how it plays out. You're not just the new neighbor. You're the guy who can afford to live in another country. In their heads, that's a neon sign screaming, I've got cash to burn. So, when Tita next door asks for 10 pesos to grab some rice, or Mang Tony wants a cigarette because his pack ran out, it's not just a request, it's a test. A measly 10 pesos, 20 cents in USD, feels like pocket lint to you, but to them, it's a signal. Give it up, and you're golden. Hold back, and you're the selfish crab who climbed out and flipped everyone off on the way up. Never mind that you're not rolling in gold bars. The optics say you've got more than they do, and that's enough to keep the asks coming. It's toxic, sure, draining if you let it run wild, but there's a flip side. That 10 pesos might mean a kid eats dinner tonight, or a family keeps the lights on. You're not just a mark, you're a potential lifeline. And here's where it gets messy. The crab bucket's real, but so is the heart behind it. Filipinos don't always see you as a rich jerk. They see you as someone who can help. And if you do, you're not just tolerated, you're embraced. It's a warped kind of welcome, but it's theirs. Zoom out from the Philippines, and Southeast Asia as a whole is a different beast. This isn't a monolith. It's a patchwork of cultures, from Thailand's Buddhist calm to Vietnam's hustle-hard chaos to Indonesia's island sprawl. But one thread ties it together, opportunity. Not the Silicon Valley startup kind, but the old-school, grit and grin kind baked into their traditions. The way of life here, bartering, bantering, building bonds over shared meals, turns every interaction into a chance to get ahead, survive, or just make the day a little brighter. As a foreigner, you're a walking opportunity magnet. You stick out, pale skin, funny accent, that dumb tourist hat, and that makes you a sniper's dream. Most of these snipers aren't out to fleece you blind, though. Sure, you'll get the tuk-tuk driver quoting triple the rate, or the market lady slipping an extra mango in your bag with a wink and a special price. But a lot of them, they're just folks scraping by, hoping you'll toss a few coins their way. Spare 20 baht in Thailand, 10,000 dong in Vietnam, or those 10 pesos in Manila, and you're not just a sucker. You're feeding a kid, a grandma, maybe a whole crew huddled in a one-room shack. It's less scam and more survival, with a side of, hey, you seem nice. And here's the kicker. If you've made it here, worked a job, soaked up the sun, scored a cheap condo, you've already cashed in on what this place offers. The low cost of living, the chaos that somehow works, the people who'll cook you a feast just for showing up. Southeast Asia's been good to you. So, yeah, there's a vibe that says you owe a little something back. Not a tax, not a guilt trip, but a nod of gratitude. Call it karma, call it manners. It's the grease that keeps this social machine humming. Let's talk karma, because in Asia, it's not just a bumper sticker, it's a lifestyle. From Buddhist Thailand to Hindu Bali to the Catholic meets animist mashup of the Philippines, the idea that what you put out comes back is gospel. Help a stranger, and the universe might toss you a bone later. Maybe a job hookup, a free ride, or just not getting flattened by a monsoon season scooter pileup. It's not about being a saint. It's about playing the long game. For locals, you're a karma goldmine. They don't peg you as Elon Musk, but they figure you've got enough to keep yourself fed and still flick a few crumbs their way. That cigarette you hand over? That's not just nicotine. It's a ticket to good vibes, a little cosmic IOU. And if you buy into it, great. You'll feel like a king tossing coins to the masses, soaking up the smiles and the salamat. Even if you don't, it's hard to argue with the warm fuzzies of a kid grinning because you bought his mom's last stick of grilled fish. This isn't some sanitized charity pitch, though. It's raw, messy, and in your face. Say no too often, and the smiles fade. Crab mentality kicks in, and you're the outsider again. Say yes too much, and you're the neighborhood ATM, drowning in just this once please. Finding the balance is like tightrope walking a typhoon. Thrilling when you nail it, brutal when you don't. What makes this whole dance work, or at least not collapse into anarchy, is the ancient culture holding it together. Southeast Asia's a time capsule with Wi-Fi. Temples older than your family tree, rituals that'd make your anthropologist uncle drool, and a faith that's less about pews and more about people. In the Philippines, it's Catholicism with a twist, saints and spirits rubbing shoulders. Thailand's got monks blessing motorbikes. Vietnam's got ancestor altars in every shop. It's a glue that binds society, reignited every time someone lights incense, sings a hymn, or shares a meal. Your friendships here aren't just chit-chat, they're forged in that fire. Give a little, and you're not just a pal, you're part of the fabric. Skip the karaoke invite or dodge the street food feast, and you're peeling yourself out of it. The culture demands you show up, not with a fat wallet, but with a willingness to play ball. That's where the magic happens, a blend of old world roots and new world hustle, stitched together by folks who'll call you brother 5 minutes after meeting you. Let's not sugarcoat it, you're gonna get sniped. Constantly. The cigarette begs, this small loan pitches, the my kid needs medicine sob stories. They're relentless. Most come from a good place, genuine need, not greed, but some are straight up hustles. The trick is knowing which is which, and good luck with that when you're still Googling how to say no in Tagalog. Early on, I handed out pesos like candy, thinking I was Mother Teresa, until I realized half the block was suddenly out of rice every time I walked by. Lesson learned, generosity's a virtue, but so is a spine. Still, the snipers with good hearts outnumber the sharks. That 10 pesos might buy a kid's lunch or keep a grandma's stove lit. You're not fixing poverty, don't kid yourself, but you're tossing a lifeline, and that's not nothing. The catch? They'll keep coming. You're the golden goose until you're broke or gone, and that's just the deal. Here's the rub. If Southeast Asia's been your playground, cheap rent, killer food, a laid-back life you'd never score back home, there's a case you owe it something. Not because you're rich, but because you're here, reaping the benefits. Locals see you living a dream they can't touch. Travel, freedom, a passport that opens doors, and they figure a few pesos is fair trade. It's not entitlement, it's reciprocity, Asian style. You've eaten their lechon, danced at their fiestas, dodged their traffic, kick a little back, and you're square. Doesn't mean you're a piggy bank, though. The guilt trip's real, those puppy dog eyes when you say no, but you don't owe anyone your last dime. Gratitude's a two-way street. They've welcomed you, mostly, and you've brought something too. Cash, stories, a fresh face. The trick is keeping it balanced, not letting it tip into a one-sided bleed out. If you play it right, dole out enough to stay human, hold enough back to stay sane. It's a blast. Southeast Asia's social web is a trip, chaotic, warm, and so alive it'll make your old life feel like a grayscale rerun. You'll have friends who'd kill for you one day and borrow your shirt the next. You'll be broke one week, king of the block the next. It's not easy, crab mentality, snipers, and all, but it's real, raw, unfiltered, and rewarding if you've got the stomach for it. The culture's the prize, ancient, loud, and stitched into every grin, every ask. You're not just living here, you're in it, part of a messy, beautiful tapestry that's been spinning for centuries. That's Southeast Asia, a land where relationships define you, friendships test you, and every peso's a gamble on karma, connection, or just surviving the day. And here's the real insanity. People sleep on this. Everyone's chasing sterile expat bubbles, gated condos, craft beer bars, while Southeast Asia's out here serving up life in Technicolor. You want real? Ditch the aircon and dive into the chaos. Haggle with aunties, sing off-key with uncles, toss a coin to a kid and watch the ripple. This ain't a vacation. It's a front-row seat to humanity, claws and all. The West's obsessed with boundaries and self-care. Meanwhile, Asia's like, nah, we're family now, deal with it. Stop hiding in your bubble, you glorious weirdos. Get sniped, get broke, get alive. This is where the story's at.